Hi, and welcome to Open Enrollment for Plan Year 2024. This year, Open Enrollment starts on October 2nd and continues until October 13th. Open Enrollment is your one time during the year where you can make changes to your health, dental, and vision benefits regarding the plan you're on, who's on your plan, and all of that without having a qualified life event. Open enrollment is a great time to step into your benefit knowledge so you can plan for your needs for the following plan year, which starts on January 1st, 2024. You can review and update your health, dental, and vision options, review and re-elect your HSAs and FSAs and dependent care, daycare reimbursement account. This year, if you are going to be adding a new dependent to your plan, you have to make sure to have your required documentation, your dependent documentation, there to upload in Workday. And you can also try Alex, our AI technology, as you compare plans. Before we get started with the different health options, I'd like to review some benefit terms with you. First of all, let's talk about deductible. The deductible is the amount you pay each calendar year for covered services before your plan begins to pay its percentage. A copay is a fixed amount you pay for a covered health service, usually when you receive that service, and this amount skips the deductible. The amount that you pay varies by the type of doctor you're going to see. Coinsurance is the percentage of the costs that you pay after your deductible is met. The out-of-pocket maximum is the most you could pay during a calendar year for a covered service before which or after which the plan would start paying at 100%. And premium is the amount you pay bi-weekly or monthly for your health, dental, and vision insurance. Now that we've reviewed the benefit definitions, let's go ahead and go into the coverage. So on the UVA health plan, we have 3 different options of the plan, and some things are the same. For example, the out-of-pocket maximum on all 3 options is the same. It's $5,500 for individual coverage and $11,000 for yourself and your dependents. And remember, the out-of-pocket maximum is that in a big healthcare year where you've maybe had a hospitalization or a lot of expensive medications or lab work and testing, that out-of-pocket maximum is your maximum financial exposure for the year. It's the max that you'll have to pay before you hit that out-of-pocket maximum and the plan starts to pay 100%. Preventive care is also covered at 100% on all 3 plans with an in-network provider, and preventative care is generally your annual physical exam, preventative care for children under age 7 when they're going to see their primary care provider, and preventive diagnostic tests like a screening mammogram or a colonoscopy. It also includes routine prenatal maternity visits. Everything else, any other type of service, hospitalization, blood work, x-rays that aren't preventative, that all goes towards your deductible. And then once you've met your deductible, the coinsurance, the percentage that you have to pay of the bill, starts to kick in. So let's look at our health plan options now to see how they compare. So on the basic health plan, that is our highest deductible plan, and it has a deductible of $2,000 for individual coverage and $4,000 if you're covering yourself and some dependents. On the basic plan, all prescription costs go towards that $2,000 or $4,000 deductible. And once you've met that deductible in any way, shape, or form with lab, however you get there, office visits, lab and x-ray, prescriptions, once you've hit that either that $2,000 or that $4,000 deductible, the plan starts to pay 80% and you pay 20%. There are certain medications that are on the preventive medication list, and these medications skip the deductible and go straight to coinsurance. So many medications that people take on an ongoing basis for chronic conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure may be on that preventive medication list. And if one or more of your medications is on that list, you don't have to meet the deductible. It'll go straight towards the coinsurance. And on the basic plan, the coinsurance is 80-20, meaning that the plan pays 80% of the bill and you pay 20% until you hit that out-of-pocket maximum. Employees on the basic plan also receive a health savings account from UVA. So that's automatically paired with the health savings account. And in that account, you'll get your seed funds that the university provides, and that's $1,000 if you're on the plan just for yourself, or if you're on the plan with dependents, you get $1,500 in seed money, and then you can contribute in addition to that all the way up to the IRS maximum for a particular year. And the IRS maximum for 2024 is $4,150 for individual and $8,300 for family. And because the IRS considered employer seed money to be part of the employee contribution, that amount that you get, that seed money that you get from UVA, actually counts towards your overall individual or family limit. And on a health savings account, it's not like an FSA where you have that money is use or lose and you have to use it by the end of the year. On a health savings account, whatever you have remaining in your account just rolls over to the next calendar year. It's literally a bank account that you can use to pay for services that aren't covered by your health, dental, or vision insurance with pre-tax dollars. And it just rolls over from year to year. And if you separate or retire, whatever is in that account is yours to keep. So now let's move on to the value plan. On the value plan, it has a more modest deductible, and that deductible is $800 for an individual or $1,600 for family coverage, employee plus dependents. Once one person on the plan individually meets that $800 deductible, they move on to the coinsurance, which would be 80% paid by the plan, 20% paid by the employee, or if the entire group somehow gets to $1,600 between all of them, then everybody on the plan is considered to have met the deductible for that year and the coinsurance would kick in. On the value plan, generic prescriptions are a flat dollar copay and they're not subject to the deductible. Non-generic medications are subject to the deductible and coinsurance, but there are medications on the chronic and preventive medication list that skip that deductible. Again, these are prescriptions that people take on a regular basis for chronic conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure. And if you have a medication that's on that list, or maybe somebody on your family in your family does, that medication skips the deductible and goes straight to coinsurance. The value plan also is our only plan that has copayments, and copayments skip the deductible. So if you are going to see a primary care provider, you'll pay a $40 copay for that visit, and you won't be subject to the deductible for the office visit, and it would be an $80 copayment for a specialist. There are reduced copayments for UVA providers. If you have testing done in conjunction with that visit, for example, you have to have some blood work drawn or you have to have an x-ray, that service would go towards your deductible, but the visit to the doctor's office wouldn't. So if you're just going and let's say you take a child because you think they might have the flu and the doctor just does an exam and says, okay, they're fine, here's a prescription, you're just going to pay that copay. But if the doctor says, oh gosh, we really need to get a chest x-ray, then that chest x-ray would go towards your deductible. It's just the office visit that is the regular copay and skips the deductible. So last but not least, we have our choice plan. The choice plan has the lowest deductible. It's a $500 deductible for individuals or $1,000 for an employee plus dependents. And like the value plan, an individual can meet that deductible with $500, or if the family somehow gets to $1,000 collectively, everybody on the plan is considered to have met the deductible. Like the value plan, generic prescriptions are a flat dollar copay and they're not subject to the deductible. It doesn't have office visit copays, but there is coinsurance. So once you've met that deductible, the health plan starts to pay at 85% and you pay 15%. And like on the value plan, there are medications that are not subject to the deductible on the chronic and preventive medication list. So if you have a medication on that list, it would skip the deductible and go right to that 85% coinsurance. So now let's look at the plan premiums for next year. Premiums have gone up due to market prices and plan utilization, but they haven't gone up dramatically. They've gone up a little bit. Most of the increase is being borne on the employer end by UVA, but there are premium increases for the health plan. The new rates are listed above with the dollar amount that it's changing from for 2024. So for example, if you are an employee and you're on the basic plan, last year you were paying $25 a month. This year you'll be paying $30, so that's a $5 change in premium. And you can see for the rest of the plans how that works. If you are a bi-monthly employee, you'll just want to cut these rates in half. And rates for our COBRA and wage and postdoc plans are on the open enrollment website. Now let's put all the puzzle pieces together and kind of get a feel for what is your overall cost on the basic value and choice plans. You can kind of get a feel for what you would be paying on these plans. The thing that everybody tends to worry about is kind of worst case scenario. What if I have to go into the hospital? What am I going to have to pay on the plans? And that's where it's really important to kind of think this through. Because if you look at this little grid, so the orange is showing you what you pay in premium, the gray-blue is showing you what you pay in deductible, and then the dark blue is showing you the out-of-pocket maximum. And again, that out-of-pocket maximum is the amount that you would have to pay out of pocket before the plan starts to pay at 100%. And you'll see there that the out-of-pocket maximum is the same for each of the three options. And we're just looking at employee only here. So let's assume that there was a hospitalization, and that hospitalization was going to get you to the out-of-pocket maximum. And typically that's not unusual for hospitalizations where you stay in the hospital 2-3 days. A lot of times you do max out. Hit your out-of-pocket maximum in that scenario because hospitalizations can be quite expensive. So on the basic plan, you'd have that $5,500 out-of-pocket maximum. You had a $2,000 deductible, but you received $1,000 in seed money towards that deductible in your HSA. So the net amount that you'd pay, $5,500 minus the $1,000 that you receive from UVA, plus the $360 that you pay in premium, your net out-of-pocket costs for that year would be $4,860. If you were on the value plan, you have that $5,500 out-of-pocket maximum. That's the exact same as it is for basic and choice. Your $800 deductible would be factored into that $5,500. So your total out-of-pocket expenses then would be the $5,500 out-of-pocket max plus $1,158 that you would have spent in premium. So a hospitalization that maxed out the out-of-pocket for somebody on the value plan, that individual would have paid $6,000, $658 in total between premium and the cost that they were responsible for on the value plan. On the choice plan, in that same scenario, there was a hospitalization and you maxed out on the plan with regard to the co-insurance that you were responsible for and the deductible. Between that $5,500 out-of-pocket max and the $2,658 that you paid in premium, that individual would have paid $8,158 in expenses on the choice plan for that hospitalization. So what this slide is showing you is that an important part of the equation when you're looking at the plan that's right for you is really considering the premium that you pay, because there is a significant difference between what you pay on the basic plan and the value plan in premium relative to what you pay on the choice plan. So that is something to really consider. And remember, all the same services are covered. So it doesn't matter whether you're basic, value, or choice, the plan is going to cover the same exact things. It's just the co-insurance and the amount you pay in premium that's different. Now let's move on to our dental options. You have two different dental options for dental insurance at UVA. Let's look at how the dental options are the same. So both plans use United Concordia, and we were able to expand the network back in July of this year to include a lot more dentists than were previously covered, and that's the same whether you're on basic or enhanced. Both plans have a modest deductible of $50 per year, which applies to primary services and major restorative services, and both plans pay 100% for in-network care. So now let's look at how the dental options are different. So on the enhanced dental plan, it's the only plan that covers orthodontia. So if you're on the basic plan, it doesn't cover orthodontia, but the enhanced plan does for anybody who's on the plan, and it covers 50% up to $1,000 lifetime. Another difference between the basic and the enhanced plan is the amount that the dental plan will pay in benefits per person per year. So if you're on the basic plan, the plan will pay up to $1,000 in dental services. If you're on the enhanced plan, it'll pay up to $2,000. The other difference is in major restorative work. On the basic plan, the plan will pay 50% after deductible, and on the enhanced plan, it will pay 60% after the deductible. So if somebody who is just going to the dentist a couple times a year and maybe they have the odd cavity and they don't have anybody that needs braces, chances are they may be just fine on the basic plan. But if you know you're going to have a child who needs braces, or maybe you know you need a lot of dental work, so you maybe have to have caps and crowns or a root canal, something like that, then the enhanced plan might be something to consider. The additional premium you pay may be worth it because you're having, additional benefits. Good news, for 2024, the dental and vision premiums are not changing at all. They're the exact same that they've been now for the last several years. And you'll see the premiums there on the slide for, there's a pretty significant difference between basic and enhanced. And that's because the enhanced plan pays more of your bill than the basic plan does. And then again, vision is the same this year as well. And there's just one Davis Vision plan. Speaking of vision, you have two different options. So everybody who is on the UVA health plan automatically has a discount through Aetna. And that's just rendered at the point of service if you go to a provider who participates in the Aetna network. And this is for just refractive services. So these are things like getting an eye exam, getting glasses or contact lenses. In addition to the discount that everybody has, you can purchase actual vision insurance through Davis Insurance, and that pays more of the bill. So it covers an eye exam, and it also offers a steep discount on getting contact lenses or frames. And there are also additional discounts on things like scratch resistance, transition lenses, things of that nature. So Davis Vision will actually pay a lot more of your bill for the vision exam and eyeglasses or contact lenses than the discount will. So if you are somebody that wears glasses or have somebody in your family that wears glasses or contact lenses, Davis Vision can be a good benefit to take a look at. Now let's look at optional life insurance. So you can always make a request to change your optional life insurance at any time during the year. And this is true whether you're in BRS or whether you're in the ORP or the Medical Center Retirement Plan. You can always make a request to increase your coverage. And if you're doing it outside of open enrollment, that's always going to be subject to medical underwriting, meaning that you have to answer medical questions, and then the insurance carrier makes a decision as to whether they will give you that optional coverage or not. There is a special exception for individuals who are in the ORP and Medical Center Retirement Plans. Individuals who are in these plans who already have at least 1 times their salary in optional life insurance coverage or at least $25,000 in coverage for a spouse can elect to go up 1 multiple during open enrollment without answering medical questions. So for example, if you are on the Medical Center Retirement Plan and you have 1 times your salary in optional life already, you can request an additional 1 time salary without answering medical questions. That's considered a guaranteed issue. You request it and it automatically goes into effect in January. Same thing is true for Spousal coverage, if you have $25,000 already on a spouse, you can get an additional $25,000 without answering any medical questions. This only applies to the optional retirement plan and the medical center retirement plan because those are plans that belong to UVA. People in VRS are on the state's Virginia retirement system, and the state plan doesn't allow you to make changes during open enrollment. They require medical underwriting anytime you request additional coverage. So now let's talk about the flexible spending account. So you must re-elect your flexible spending account during the open enrollment event in Workday if you want to have an FSA for next year. If you don't re-elect, your benefit is waived and it will not carry forward over to 2024. If you don't re-elect your FSA, the only time you would be able to do so in 2024 would be if you had a qualified life event like having a baby or getting married. So now let's talk about the Basic Health HSA, and this is the account that's automatically paired with the Basic Health Plan. If you are a current Basic Health Plan participant, you have to re-elect your health savings account in the open enrollment event in Workday. When you re-elect your HSA, you'll automatically receive an employer contribution, and you can also choose to contribute to your HSA, though you're not required to. So for example, you could choose to voluntarily contribute an additional amount over and above what UVA provides by making that election during open enrollment. You can always make that choice during the year as well. If you're new to the Basic Health Plan, you have to sign the terms and conditions form in the open enrollment Workday final review. So when you're going and making your elections, if you've selected the basic plan, you'll see a little box to check there that says that you acknowledge that you've read the terms and conditions for the HSA. And if you currently have a full healthcare FSA in place right now for 2023, you have to make sure that you spend down 100% of the funds by the end of the year in order for your HSA to open timely in January. So you have to make sure that account is zero by the end of the year, or we can't open the FSA for you until April of next year. So this is really, really important for those of you who might be thinking about moving from choice or value to the basic plan, and you have a healthcare FSA this year. You've got to make sure that you spend down those funds before the end of the year. Now let's talk about your health savings account contributions. As we mentioned earlier, the HSA maximum contributions for next year is $4,150 for individuals, so $4,150, or for a family, $8,300. And that's up a little bit for both from 2023. And then for people who are 55 and above, they can add an extra $1,000 to those amounts. The seed funds remain the same, so an individual would receive $1,000 for their HSA and a family would receive $1,500. And you have to be sure that those are household limits based on IRS regulations. So if you've got a spouse who works elsewhere that also has an HSA, and you need to be careful about not exceeding that household limit, that family limit. So open enrollment is really not tied to savings for retirement, but we like to take the opportunity during open enrollment to remind people that they have that option to go ahead and save additionally for retirement. So if you are in the VRS hybrid plan, you are able to get up to an additional 2.5% cash match with the hybrid cash match plan if you participate. And once you max out the hybrid cash match, you've done that extra 4%, you can also go in and elect a 403B through UVA and get an additional $40 cash match as long as you're saving at least $80 a month in the 403B. Individuals or employees who are in the ORP and VRS plans 1 and 2, as well as the older version of the medical center retirement plan, you can get a cash match as well by contributing to the 403B. And that cash match is 50% of what you contribute, up to $40 a month. If you're in the medical center retirement plan, the newer version, you can receive a cash match of up to 2%. So if you contribute 4% of salary to the medical center retirement plan, you get a 2% cash match on top of that. If you contribute less than the 4%, you get a 50% cash match on what you contribute, and that cash match caps out at 2%. So again, these are not things that you have to do during open enrollment, but it's a great time to think about benefits and think about retirement benefits as well. Open enrollment is also a great time to think about our wellness program. So UVA has a great wellness program that is open to employees who are on the UVA health plan, employees and spouses, and there are also some limited programs and benefits available to those who are not on the health plan. But it offers physical, financial, emotional, and social well-being. And if you participate in these programs, you can qualify for rewards. And it's not too late to earn rewards for 2023. You have until November 30th to enroll and earn rewards. And there's a lot of really good things on there. So for example, if you complete a personal health assessment, you can get a $100 reward. If you have your annual exam or you had it already, you can qualify for $100 for that. You can also participate in physical challenges. You can, if you're brand new and you've never done Who's Well before and you create your account, you can get $10. So there's a lot of good things that you can do, and it's not too late to sign up. You've got until November 30th, and we pay those rewards out quarterly. And you can get up to $500 for yourself, and if you're covering a spouse on the plan, you can get up to $500 for that spouse as well. Both of those amounts are paid to you as the employee in your paycheck. So now let's talk about our action items. So during open enrollment, you really want to look at the open enrollment materials online, attend our benefit expos in the town hall. It's a good time to update your medical, dental, and vision benefits if you want to make a change, and definitely to elect or waive your FSA or HSA. It's also your time when you can make changes to the people on your plan. So if you need to drop a dependent, you can do that. If you are adding a dependent, for example, you want to add a spouse or you're adding a child, open enrollment is your time to do that, but you have to make sure that you upload that eligibility documentation before you submit your election. So for example, if you're adding a child to the plan, then you would want to upload their birth certificate, or if it's an adopted child, their adoption paperwork. If you're adding a spouse to the plan, you would want to upload a copy of your marriage certificate, as well as a copy of the first 2 pages of your most recent tax return. And those documents document that this is an eligible dependent. So it's saying, hey, this is my child or this is my spouse. It's also a good time to check on your beneficiaries. So for those of you who are in the ORP or the Medical Center Retirement Plan, you make those designations right in Workday. For those of you who are in VRS and have VRS life insurance, you do that right in My VRS. And then when you're submitting, you want to make sure that you save a copy of your benefit election, so you'll have that for later, and you can do that in Workday after you submit. After open enrollment, we touched on this before, but new basic health plan participants, remember, if you have an FSA for 2023, remember to spend that amount down to 0 by the end of the year, by December 31st. And if you are new to the basic plan or newly elected an FSA, make sure you respond to any email instructions you receive from Fidelity when they are trying to open your account. So thanks very much for listening to this presentation, and remember you can find a lot more information on our open enrollment website. You're also very welcome to contact Ask HR or call Ask HR at 243-3344 with any questions. Thanks a lot.